This is Teresa Ewers with New Mexico Entertainment Magazine, and I am excited to have with me Amber Midthunder. Thank you for meeting with us on your busy schedule in this crazy weather that you had to deal with.
I know. Thank you for adjusting. Right?
Yep. How bad was the weather up in Santa Fe?
Oh, like snowed in. Like we woke up and it was like that's what you would hope for on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, you know, when you like try to get out and you're like,
it's April.
That was the thing. I came home and I was like, excuse me, New Mexico, I thought it was spring by mistake. I get it, apparently not, whatever.
Yeah, but you're gonna love that New Mexico weather, I'm telling you.
Yeah, someone showed me, a friend of mine was like that time that it rain or like snows in New Mexico in May and everyone freaks out and then remembers that it did this last May and the May before that. And the May, like it does happen every year, but every year it's surprising.
Absolutely. So you're born and raised and bred here right in New Mexico.
Yeah.
We're always excited to see actors coming from our state doing big things. Tell me about childhood here, growing up in New Mexico.
Well, I was born on the Navajo reservation. I have Navajo brothers.
Younger, I know that you had a passion for it, but did you feel like it was, I need to be a part of the family business, or you really felt like, yeah, this is something I have a passion for, performing?
That's really interesting. I grew up in my mom's casting office. She's the casting director. My dad is an actor. I grew up watching him act, but not like as a business or anything. I just saw him act, and then I worked with my mom in casting, and film industry as a whole was never anything that was suggested to me from my parents or my family in one way or another. It was never like, oh, you should never do this, or oh, you'll probably do this someday, or we want you to, or like it was just never was like Amber plus film industry was never anything that ever happened. It was never an equation that entered my life until I thought of it. And I loved acting for a long time before I ever knew that being in the film industry was a real thing that people did. So to me, it was always just that I loved acting and that I saw it in so many different, so many different ways, and I loved it in every single way. And then, as I grew up and I kind of tried different jobs and things like that, nothing ever compared to how much I loved acting. And then when I figured out that that was a real job, I was like, oh, I'm done. I found it.
You found what your calling was. So your first speaking gig was actually Sunshine Cleaning, and you were 9 years old, and it is a wonderful film. Did you expect? Were you even close to prepared to the praise you would be receiving from that film?
Well, I didn't. It wasn't like a big deal, but I did my big story from that one was that I thought I was super cool to be a part of a big movie. And they had to pull me out of school early for a table read. So I paid my best friend in edamame to be my publicist. We were at lunch one day and I was like, look, I'm going to miss math class and Miss Hathaway is going to ask where I'm at. And if I give you my edamame, you're going to tell her that I have a part in a big movie, okay? And she was like, all right. So we did that, and then the teacher didn't even ask where I went.
She was just like,
no, she was just like, where is Amber? And my best friend was like, not here, and they moved on. And I was like, man.
She worked all that out just to have to be like,
yeah, I lost so much edamame over that.
Well, it feels like you lucked out in a sense because the film industry in New Mexico has been booming. Yeah. And a lot of the first productions you did was a lot that was coming into the state. Did you find that as an important thing with your career, or did you just see it as a bonus?
Absolutely. No. So I have a really different I have a very unique history as far as my career path so far, because I started in a local pool. You know, I started auditioning locally and doing all my parts here instead of going to LA right away and trying to do it that way, which to me was really helpful because I kind of got to ease myself into the industry and what it is and what acting can be both as an art and as a business, and then kind of grow as I felt ready for it.
So with one of the shows that you got to take part in, which it's on their final season right now, is Longmire.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like for you?
Oh, That just touches my heart. The Longmire family is truly a family. Like, I've never seen a production be as close or as, like, loving to each other as Longmire. You know, like, still, I mean, I was a part of the first season and the third season, and still I can walk on set 6th season and, like, be welcomed with hugs and open arms, and everyone is just truly, truly kind and a family, and so I feel really fortunate to have been a part of that. And then also they just really care about the art that they're making. I think that Longmire is a show that's based, in my eyes, on, like, earnesty and strength. And so to have been a part of that too is just really, really awesome.
Well, one of the most recent things that I saw you in, and it was funny when I pulled you up just to even look at photos, but I was like, that's Maria. And I got to see Priceless.
Yes.
And I was so happy they did a screening here in Albuquerque. Yay. And it is an amazing film.
Oh,
I had to wonder, due to the subject, you know, the material in that movie, was it difficult playing that role?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of challenges to it. It was a challenging movie, as I think, for a group, because we all carried the weight of knowing that we were dealing with a really important subject and wanting to deal with it respectfully, and represent it in a certain light, because really the point is awareness. It's not to just say, look at how terrible this is, and to shock people, which sometimes I think, you know, can be a goal for other people, but for us it was to say, look at how terrible this is, we can change it. And that was the important thing with that. And then outside of that, there was just just wanting to work hard and do that story and do that character justice. But everybody there was really, we all had that unified goal of doing our best for that story, and because, you know, that was a movie with a mission. And I feel like we were all on board and very behind. Like, even still today when I make decisions, I think, like, am I representing the Priceless movement well? As somebody who is a part of that, am I still representing it well? And that's, I think, the kind of the through line for the Priceless crew.
Have you had a moment from that film that you might have run into either fans or anybody that you realized to yourself, oh wow, I really took part in an important project, whether it was just somebody who has experienced that family-wise? I mean, have you had any moments like that?
Fortunately, I haven't had anyone that's, like, you know, come out of the sex trade and been like, thank you so much. But like, really what made me realize it was because, you know, For King and Country is a Grammy, I think, nominated, winning Christian band, and so Joel Smallbone is the lead of Priceless, and the whole crew came from that. And really, when I realized how big it was actually, like, kind of going into their world and going to some, because, you know, we, like, went to some of their concerts and stuff like that, and to see that it goes beyond just the one movie, and that they've been working on it long before, and that they're going to be working on it long after, that it's a whole Priceless movement of talking about, and that it just comes, like, that something as big as sex trafficking, which is, you know, one of the largest issues in the world, sprouts from something as simple as respect. And you know, how you value yourself, how you carry yourself as a woman, or how, you know, when you're a mother and you're raising your children, how you raise your sons to respect women. Like, that's where these huge issues come from, is these tiny little, like, mindsets. And that's, I feel like, what I really learned, and that's what I mean when I say that I still think about it. Like, I think about how can I do my part in respecting myself, or in, you know, helping others to respect themselves or treat others well, and stuff like that, you know. Well,
speaking of, you know, nominated films and being nominated, you got to work on Hell or High Water. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. So, what was that experience like for you? I mean, Jeff Bridges, well-known actor. What was it like working on set?
I mean, whatever. I can't speak to what it's like to do a movie with Jeff Bridges, but from what I got to do, it was the most impactful and amazing experience that I've ever had in my life as an actress, and I will carry it with me forever. Like, just to see him do his thing, and Ben Foster and I had a full scene that's not in the movie, but to see those two actors who are so just, like, divinely talented do what they do and do it so differently was just, like, something that I will really carry with me forever. And it was just, like, to watch it now, I feel really privileged to have been a part of it. Like, I look back and I'm like, really? Because, oh my gosh, like, wow, that's awesome. You know, but at the time it was just like, it felt like, I could feel that it felt really like, it felt important at the time, you know, and looking back on it, I just feel really grateful.
Yeah, well, you now have quite a few projects under your belt.
Yeah.
So what would you say, have you pulled any lessons from every project that you did? What were some of the lessons that you pulled from each one that you've done?
It's really hard. I think I would be doing something wrong if I didn't learn from every job I did. From every day that I go to work, I feel like I leave a little more knowledgeable than the last. They're all kind of hard to articulate because it's, to me, I feel like acting is based on experience, you know, and it's like, it's a weird job that way because your jobs are your feelings and your job is interaction as an actor. So I feel like, if anything, I am an expanded person each time, and I can feel more comfortable in knowing how to explore that, you know, because it is a strange environment to have to be really vulnerable in sometimes. Like Hell or High Water, for example, was a completely different environment than some of our days on Legion, which was a completely different environment than some of our days on Priceless. Oh. And so to like have to do relatively the same thing in all those different environments, I feel like just each time I learn myself a little bit better, and I learn a little bit better how I can do that. You know? So
I know when you talk about working with I didn't get to work a lot with Jeff Bridges, but you've got to be on set with some amazing Alan Arkin.
Yes.
Lou Diamond Phillips working with Longmire. Is there a wish list that you have of the actors that you want to still work with?
Oh gosh, it's really long. It's like ridiculously, yeah, I've like sent it to my team. It's a real thing.
It's like, here you go.
It's a real thing, yeah, like all the time I'm like, oh, I want to work with this person, I want to work with this person. Yes, there's a list. It is quite long.
Well, who's a few that are on that list?
Oh gosh, I mean, I would like, walking away from Hell or High Water, I would love to do like a full movie with Ben Foster. Or Jeff Bridges, always, everybody does. But even like directors, like I love Scott Cooper so much. He's amazing. I would love to work with like, I mean, of course, like the obvious ones like Meryl Streep and stuff like that, because you know they're just anybody that I can get my hands on. I feel like share your wisdom with me. But yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the show you are on now, Legion. Marvel film or show that honestly, when I first started watching it, I wondered if it made you wonder whether what was happening was real. Was it a dream? Was it induced? Was it you just didn't know what was going on?
Yeah.
What's the experience of working on a show like that?
Very similar to watching. We all had, you know, we would get a script and we would all get into a little group, like cast-wise, we would all get into a group and be like, okay, does anybody know what's going on? Anybody? No? Alright. Yeah, but I mean, that was kind of the nice thing. And I think, you know, I think some people probably, like, I think we were all provided with the information that Noah Hawley felt it was necessary that we have. You know, I think he was very, obviously you watch the show and it's very, it's not carelessly done that way. It's very intentional. So I think he intentionally gave us as little or as much information as we really needed and kind of left it up to us to ask or to explore. And I think that was something that was really encouraged, was that he like just wanted us to kind of play the moment and make that as rich as it could without kind of having a larger scope. Because I don't know, maybe you explore less if you know where it's going, or you feel, you know, a certain kind of safety that maybe doesn't give you the same kind of quality of work otherwise. But we certainly had like a long conversation going of questions of always being like, okay, so is this like, just however, like we would walk in so many days and there were so many times we'd have conversations like, is this a dream or no? Are we in, this is a dream in the fake reality from the flashback of David's memory inside of the Lenny, that's what it is. And we'd be like, I think you're wrong. And then we'd talk for like a while.
Well, your character, Kerry, I mean, honestly, just kicks ass. You know, you get to beat up people, and I'm like, it's awesome. What was it about that character that you drew? What was it that you enjoyed most about?
Oh, gosh. She was such a challenge to me. Like, Kerry is I feel like the greatest challenge that I'll face as an actor, maybe. I don't know what's in my future, but we'll not say that. But really challenging, just because, you know, everything that we do is really grounded in honesty and the humanity of the situation. And it's like, how do you find that? How do you honestly tap into somebody that, A, has a really close relationship with somebody, I think is like the core of who she is, is that she has a close relationship with someone that she can't, she actually can't conceive living without him. She's never had to think like that. And then she has this kind of side of her that's got the emotional maturity of like an 8-year-old, but then like the boundless confidence of like a UFC champion. You know, and it's like, how do you balance those things? That was kind of the greatest question for me. It was balancing all those, you know, like the strength and the tenderness and the like immaturity with her like strength, and I don't know, it was just, there was a lot, but it was all like every second of it I loved.
Well, I'm glad to see that we are going to be seeing a season 2 because we're left. I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited to see where it goes. Have you found out yet where we're headed?
No.
This season 2? Oh, great! This is going to be great when you get that script.
No, all I know is that we're shooting the second season in LA.
Awesome.
Which, yeah, that's exciting. I think we're all excited about that.
So, what upcoming projects should we know about that we can share with our readers?
Right now we're looking at season 2 right now we're looking at season 2 for Legion, because you know, as things go with the schedules and the contracts and the things like that, you tend to be committed to the one thing, but that's really all that my time and attention can handle right now.
Understood.
Yeah.
So, if there was one piece of advice that you can give to an actor coming up in the business, and because you started young, what would that piece of advice be?
I don't know that I'm the person to be giving advice. but to me, it's always just, I mean, like, of course you have to do it because you love it. Like, that's what I'm proud of, is that I came from an industry family, but I never looked at the industry. I only looked at acting because I loved it. So I feel like you have to do it because you love it. I know that it's very much possible. It's very much a real possibility.
Amber, thank you very much for meeting with us. I greatly appreciate it. We look forward to all the other projects you have coming up, and we're just happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
This is Teresa Ewers with New Mexico Entertainment. See ya.